Hello and welcome back to the United Devil channel with me, JB, already. Obviously not too far off another stream, and of course this is the exciting part of the window. Things start happening, things kick off, being linked to so many people now. I hope we're doing really well again. I don't know where you are in the world. We are nearly 2:30, 14:24. Obi, one of the legends of the chat, is already in the chat. So Donnarumma is on his way. 26 mil is a steal, but other things are going on in the background with this deal. But publicity, 26 mil is the asking price. So let's get this done. Obviously, legend of the chat. Thank you there for the update on that. Ob, the inside man. He's our legend and our inside man on this one. So yeah, welcome to the chat. Obviously, if this is your first time here, absolutely welcome to the chat. This is some of the best chat in the world. So if this is your first time here, feel free to get into the chat. The only thing that I do ask is obviously that we be respectful, respect each other's opinions. We may not always agree, which is the spice of life, and I'm a fan of that. Even this morning, the legends of the chat and I don't always agree on everything, but it's always done with respect, and we always come out with our intelligent and well thought out answers. Maybe not from my part, but certainly from the chat's part. This community is absolutely amazing. We are level headed. We have predicted things already so far. I'm going to say it, Shesko. We predicted that for most others were up and down. We remain consistent, and we went on that one. Obviously, Believe has been kicking off. We've had our say in that, but this is good. This is a little extra show though. This has just come out in the last, don't know, half an hour or so. We spoke about this morning as well. So Donnarumma, you can't compete. Wages may be a struggle, but we need to try. Exactly that. So where are we with this deal? So this morning I was of the opinion, and OB, I will give him a shout out. I said that I believed, this is based on what I'll always do is I'll give you where my head's at, and I think that's really important, just to tell you what I'm thinking, because then you can see logically where I'm coming from. It doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. I am not a dictator on here. I really appreciate Pete. That's the issue of wage cap. Exactly. I tell you where I'm at. I'm not a dictator of the chat. Again, as long as we are all respectful in what we do and we come into this chat, I don't mind being steered to different things, as long as it's roughly to do with what it is that we're talking about, and obviously respect to the chat. The chat will tell you anyway. So obviously we do have our mods in the chat as well. So that's a Donnarumma. So this morning we did speak about him. As I said, I'll tell you where I'm at on it. So I was of the belief, and still am to some degree. This is where I'm at on it. So he's a Riola client, or former Riola client, and historically really difficult to deal with, lots and lots of fees involved here. But where this has all come from is that he doesn't want to sign a new deal. There's been a deal on the table, and he doesn't want to sign a new deal with PSG for whatever the reasonings behind that. I don't know the reasonings behind that. Maybe he wants more money. I don't know. But what can't be disputed, Bobby, hello again there, legend of the chat, Temishkin, legend of the chat, and welcome to United. Next season, also make a plan for loan King and Lee and Furman. Lopez happy with Ineos, make plan. Temishkin, I love how he comes into the chat, shucks some names in there, and then leaves. That is what he does. That is what his thing is. So where does this all come from? So Jacobs Ben on X. So Ben appears on the United stand. He's respected within his own right, and he has basically said that PSG will not offer him a new contract. So Donnarumma So they want to offer him a new contract. They want to offer him a new deal, and they want at least 26 million, 30 million euros to do this deal at Ben Jacobs. So this is where we are on it. There is no smoke without fire. He is. So Bobby, I think this is basically where we are currently at with this deal, is that PSG are not going to offer him a new contract. This is what we basically spoke about this morning, how there was a new contract on the table initially for him. He hasn't signed the contract, so they basically said, well, we're going to call you bluff then, and we're going to go get a new number one keeper, Chevalier, who's just signed 35 million pounds. So he's basically going to be their number one keeper. The contract was still there from all reports, and now, as of now, basically there is no contract on the table. So they're either going to let him run his contract down, or they're going to basically try to sell him. Now, obviously, we are in need of a goalkeeper, and this is where we are. So L'Equipe this morning, to be fair, come out with it as well. So this was out there this morning. He wanted a new contract. Now, again, as I said, I believed, and I still believe, you can't compete. Do we know what his wages are on at PSG? Good point, actually. We could probably find. I could probably find that out. Let me have a little look. See if I can find that out. Donnarumma, PSG wage. Let's have a little look. So at the moment, he's on £214,000 per week. So that's his wage. I'll just stick that into the chat. And let's do the equivalent. Do an Onana. Do an Onana wage. Doesn't help me. That's in dollars, so whatever 6.2 million USD is a year. My brain's not quick enough to figure that out. So what's that about? Can't even figure that out straight off the top of my head. So expensive. 200. What's an Onana on here exactly? That's going to be my. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find that. Onana United wage. Man United wage. Man United wage per week. Let's see if we can find that out. Okay. So Onana is 110,000 per week. Niche fan, wow, this is the best window in the history of our club. Here we go. Yeah, so keep your chats coming in. Just keep them coming in so we can talk about this, and I will get through the chats as well. So just looked up the wages. I think these are roughly correct. So already at the moment, he would be twice the amount of money that Onana is currently on. Now, is he twice the goalkeeper? That is the question. I already know the answer to this one, but I know it's a question that I think needs to be asked. Now, I've done some looking, done some digging, done some sort of little bit of comparison wise. So I wanted to briefly bring this into the show so we can start to look at his goalkeeping. Now, again, obviously for me sometimes it's more about the eye test, but let's look at some of his stats. In fact, let me grab this, do this, bring this in, grab that, and bring this in to the show. Do some, what have we got? Scores there. Get rid of Belieber and stick in Donnarumma. So Donnarumma. Okay, let's do a brief little look at him. So I'm going to transition over. So these are his stats, FB reference, football reference. As you hopefully can see, I am sniffing as well, so I apologise for that. This got So COVID is just just will not go away. So I apologise in advance as all you hear me do is sniff. It is ridiculousness. So no, agreed. He is still an upgrade. So these are some of the stats and some of the if you like the percentiles that goes with that stats. Now, obviously, on the surface, it doesn't. There's not a lot of greens if that's what you go by. But the goals against, obviously, he's high up, 88 percentile. Now, could that be because he's of the league that he's in? There are a number of factors, but I also wanted to bring in a couple of comparisons, maybe some more of the kind of, for example, somebody like Ortega at City. Maybe we can bring in Courtois as well. So let's bring in somebody like Courtois in as well. Let's grab that. Grab Courtois in. Courtois. Okay. That in as well. Awesome. Set that in there. Perfect. Okay. Right. Obviously, we're doing this on the fly as well, so hear me rambling on like some sort of. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a comparison here. So Courtois and Donnarumma as well. So let's have a little bit of a comparison. Let's see what we all think about that. Here we go. I'm waiting for the chat. Love your work, IB. Mike Harris in the chat, legend. I've been reading my messages. Keeper, baby, keeper, midfield, baller next. It's nice to hear you happy, Mark. Donald Duck at this stage would be better than Onana. I don't disagree with that as well. He's an elite shot stopper, but playing from the back is a weak point. And I think as you can see here, with some now obviously this is more about a talking point. This is not about necessarily at this stage saying whether. Or this is not a comparison to try to put him down. This is kind of more of an overview as to sort of what it is that we're looking to pay for. And as we know, not all with Onana, if you're looking at Onana, if you're looking at his stats are actually probably better than some of the people in the Premier League. So you can't always use stats, and I will bring Onana into this as well. So somebody like Courtois, who's in one of the best teams in the world, that can't be argued, really. So as a comparison, Courtois, if you are just looking just in terms of, and to go back there to what OB is saying as well, there is that he is an elite shot stopper. As a save percentage, he is slightly down, where he's quite a bit down on Courtois. Clean sheet. Now, would a clean sheet concern you too much? So, 50th percentile to 61. So even if you're looking at one of the best goalkeepers in the world, shot ratio, clean sheet percentage, 26 to 28, is not, there's not a lot in that, to be fair. Crosses stopped again, really comparative, really there or thereabouts. The goal average is obviously down. Goals against, save percentage, look, don't know if it's coming to United. United would be stupid not to buy him. We all are, Mark. Donald Duck at this stage would be good. So, Courtois wise, I think he's comparable. I do think he is comparable to that. Let's do Onana. I think that will be a good comparison. Let's do an Onana comparison. Let's grab that. Do Onana. Do that comparison there. Save that. Okay. Let's grab that. Grab a banana. Okay, so I've got Onana's stats here. It's quite interesting reading. Yeah, let's go through that as well. So, Mike Harris, word the good keeper. I'm thinking top 6, maybe a cup. Interesting. So let's have a little look at Onana stats. So let's go transition that over. So this just, let's just look at these stats overall. So even just kind of looking at the goals against, I would have thought Onana's stats would be a lot worse than that. And again, this is more so for the stat people. I'm of the agreement that when you are looking at stats, and I can't be hypocritical, Onana cost us big time last season and the season before that. Completely agree there. Stats do hide a lot of stuff, and you can be a stat padder as Fernandez is. So let's have a little look here. So I think what is clear is that Onana's best attribute really is kicking. As Jamie Vargas, Donnarumma is better than Onana. Exactly. So just there as a quick comparison, so that's on screen. So you can basically see. So Onana's greatest attributes are touches, because he has so many of them. And obviously we've been trying to play the ball out from the back. Length of goal kick. But other than that, I don't, I do think that Onana is absolutely awful. As is what we all say on here. So there's a couple of little stats there. Instead, we can go into this more now. We are, as a fan base, and have been screaming and crying to replace Onana. As is, I think that what we've been screaming on here the whole way through is that we must, almost 7,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely crazy. That's obviously thanks to the chat. If you are watching this live, don't be scared. Give us a like, favorite, and subscribe on this channel as well. Let's go back to the chat. Let's go back to the chat, see what we've got, see what we're saying in the chat. Love your work, OB. Donald Duck will be better. So Donnarumma is coming to United. Onana cost us big time last season and the season before. Yeah, Bobby, I can't disagree with that, my friend. He cost us the Champions League. It's the problem with the goalkeeper stats, but they're there on the screen. In case you want to go back on those, is that stats can hide a lot of things. So if a keeper is facing a lot of shots, and this stats, and you don't concede lots and lots of goals, then obviously his stats are going to look better, right? But I think for me, with a goalkeeper, the eye test does absolutely not lie, and it's the impact and some of those things that you don't record as stats really impact the team as a club. What it doesn't show is Onana's impact and the lack of confidence that instills in the back 3, back 4, back 5. That's abundantly obvious last season. So Onana, I think, as we know, definitely has to go. I completely agree with the chat on this one. This is, I think, where we all agree on this one. So Jamie Vargas, so Donnarumma is better than Onana, Champions League winner, and comes up in the big game moments. Agreed. You're not going to hear any disagreement from me on that one, my friends. United is moving in the right direction. I would still bin Amorim now, knowing game tactics. I'll give him the first 10 games of the season. Mark Harris, that's a change of, that's a little bit of an upgrade from you there. Again, this is why I love doing this, is that people like Mark Harris, who's been in here pretty much from the first chats. I like, he has his opinion, and just because we've signed a couple of players and we've done okay, very staunch on Amorim's, on his view on that. And again, get into the chat, get involved. This is what we do. We promote different different types of views. We try and accommodate, we try and talk about this, but these are the sorts of views and opinions that will drive the fan base, because we don't all have to agree. Mr. Miyagi, great name, wax on, wax off. Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, but if we can actually sign him for 26 million, then I'll go personally pick him up. Only problem is Onana doesn't want to leave and needs to go, I swear. Agreed with you on that one. I think if he comes in, the writing's on the wall. My question would be then, I would question him as a player. He's got a contract. He's certainly within his rights to say, look, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to fight for my place. But if United go and do this deal for 26 million, then that's a statement, isn't it? That's a massive statement. That's a look, Onana, you can stay. You've got a contract, but you ain't playing. So you ain't playing. You can more than happily go to the Cup of Nations. You can do what you want to do. Spirit of Liverpool FC. Hello, my friend. You are welcome here, as you always are. United by Chesco, Donnarumma, and Baliba. Hopefully, my friend. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to catch up with you. Let's see, shall we? I think that will be it'll be more of an interesting match in October if we do get those players. So let's see what we can do. And you do need to stop buying all the players as well. So. Suntos Flow, put some respect on Agent Onana's name. He brought us in Burma and hopefully Baliba too. No, he didn't. If that's what you think, my friend, you're entitled to do that. No, he didn't. Maybe he had a quick word, but I'm pretty sure if Onana played for Newcastle, then I guarantee you that they wouldn't have gone to Newcastle. So I'm not gonna disagree, my friend, and say that maybe he did have a slight impact. And if he has, then thank you, but get out of the club. There is no sentiment here. As a goalkeeper, he's not very good. He's not what we need. If he has done that, then I thank him, and he's done well there. But ultimately, as a goalkeeper, if that is the case, I'd rather hire him as a scout and an agent rather than a player. So if he has managed to get these players in, then do you know what? Hire him as a scout. So I think maybe he'd do better as a scout than a player. Santos, no, he hasn't. Mr. Miyagi, Mark Harris has zero ball knowledge. Mr. Miyagi. All I'm going to say is, let's be respectful in the chat. As I did say from the prefix, absolutely banter's absolutely fine in here. But let's just remember, if it is banter, that things are said with respect. Mark Harris here, Mr. Miyagi off the record has gone by Christmas, my friend. Liverpool can't get Gahey, Isaac and Barcola. I've actually worked out they need to buy. Jamie Vargas, have a little look. Would we still go after Lemens? That's a good question. I think we should still go after Lemens, 100%. I think we should still go after Lemens, 100%. I definitely think we should do. But whether or not we will, I don't know. I think we should. I do think we should, but big clubs would do that. I mean, going after two goalkeepers, a centre midfielder. I mean, even I at that point. Okay, if we went two goalkeepers, a centre midfielder, the three signings that we made, got rid of a Garnacho, got rid of that bomb squad, even I would have to concede that this might be a pushing up to a 9 window. So that's something that we may have to consider. Now, if you have just joined, please don't forget to like, favourite and subscribe. Give us a like. Don't be stingy. Don't be tight. It really helps the channel out, really helps us push this amazing community out to the rest of the world. Community is an amazing community. We don't always agree on certain stuff. All I'm going to say is just remember to be respectful in the community to each other. Everybody has their views. We may not always agree. Banter's absolutely fine, and as long as the other person is fine with it, that's cool. But let's just remember, if you do get into the chat, that we've all got our views, and that's what this is about. It's being open. You can have your view and your view, but everybody does have a voice, and of course we're not always going to agree on everything that we do because it's football, and that's the beauty of the game. So if you have just joined, so Jacobs Ben basically come out and saying that PSG will not offer him a new deal. So PSG will not be offering him a new deal, and he can go for 26 million. So I'm just, as we're looking, Donnarumma, if there's anything on Donnarumma can go for 26 million according to Ben Jacobs. Just looking at anything else dropping. Nassau actually are looking at Kingsley Common, which I think would be a good one for them. So, breaking news actually as well as we're live, as is to do with not necessarily what we're talking about, but this is to do, and somebody did ask a comment on this today. So Fabrizio's just come out and said this, so this is planned confirmation. Shesko will be unveiled at Old Trafford on Saturday. So tomorrow, he's now completed part of his medical, and basically they're all going to be presented tomorrow. So I think that was a question on the chat today as well. So yeah, we were right. He's going to be an official player, I think today or tomorrow, and he's going to be unveiled tomorrow on the pitch, which I think is going to be fantastic. So Shesko has been confirmed. He's going to be unveiled tomorrow, which I think is an absolute, I think it's fantastic. So amazing. Ross Harwood, what's he saying? He's got nothing on Donnarumma. Ben Jacobs, no update just in terms of a further update. So that is where we are. And I do think this signing is getting more attention than any of the others. Going by the view so far and the amount of people in the chat. I will catch up with the chat as well. Let's see what we're all saying in the chat about this. Let's go down. What have we got? Might tell me you don't have anything about football. Fair comments. Wait, is it here we go? It's not here we go just yet, my friend. Do you think that we will have Bruno? Junior says, do you think that it will be Bruno last season at United? Junior, yes and no. Well, okay, so no, because I think that there are more players in that team, in that position, who will stifle what he did last season, and there are good players in that team. If we get another centre midfielder in, then no. If it is Bruno Fernandes of last season, then he's done. Amorim could be done as well. I think that Amorim could be done if Fernandes plays like he does last season, because there's no reason for him. Fernandes will have to stay in his box, and what I mean is he'll have to stay in his midfield box and be disciplined. I think he's going to find that very difficult to do. I think he's a bit of a control freak as well. So if Bruno doesn't do that, and we see the Bruno of last season, the fans, I think, will turn it in pretty quickly, and I think that will spell the end of him. So if he wants to survive himself, I think he needs to not be the Bruno from last season. But I've got a sneaky feeling that he's going to find that really hard to do. Mate, will we get him? Donnarumma, I think, is looking more likely that we do. Junior, I love Bruno, but we should have taken the 100 mil. Mr. Miyagi, I agree with you on that one. It's not a here we go. Not yet, exactly that. Jar, legend of the chat. Carrington is open. Ruben was just cut. The ribbon was cut by Sir Jim. Also the speech by Sir Alex. And the right plaque. And the plaque for Cat. That was really nice gesture. Do you know the most frustrating thing for me about that, Joel? right? The most frustrating thing for me is what could have been. And what I mean by that is that if Sir Jim had come into this club and bought the club, cleared the debt, bought the club, I'm not going to spend too much on this. Bought the club, spent too much on this. It's days like that we should be celebrating. That I should be going. Do you know what? That's. I still think it is fantastic, and you have to almost separate the two out. The certain things that they do, separate that out. But ultimately, for me, it still falls a little bit flat because the Glazers are still here, the debt's still here. You know, all these moves that they're making. I do agree that they are trying to do something on the football side. But how much better would it be if they'd have bought the Glazers out? And we all know, and I'm not going to dissuade from this. The reason why Sir Jim is here is to make money. They've spent 50 million, which they should have done because Carrington was awful. I've been there a couple of times and it's absolutely dreadful. It's so old-fashioned, it is ridiculous. And that's what they should be doing. So 50 million in the grand scheme of things is small change. You know, when the regeneration project happens, they're going to make billions and billions out of this. So it's really nice, and the Sir Alex speech and the plaque for Kath, I think is the right thing to do, and I applaud that. But let's not be spun around by this. There is still huge issues here, and you can basically paint over it, but at the end of the day, they're still going to be here. So this is nice, and I think they've done the right thing now. I think we should celebrate that. I think is really, really nice, but let's not, or I'm not going to buy into that just yet. Umar says, Donnarumma, I pray we get him. Big up crew, big up the crew indeed. Mr. Miyagi, weak foot, no bro yet. Donnarumma's contract, 12 months remaining, 26 million. He wants United, but how true is it? I don't know. Santos Flo, get Lamens would be good. He can gradually step into plus. Santos, I don't disagree with you. And Lamens again, I still think would be one of a pick for me. I really do. But I think when there's an opportunity to get one of the perceived best goalkeepers in the world, interestingly enough, as I have said on here, I have been contacted by some PSG fans or a PSG fan who have a different opinion on him. It's an interesting opinion on him. Is it because he wants to sign a new contract? I don't know. But there's still differing opinions on him. But again, if you get an opportunity to sign one of the best goalkeepers in the world, then I think you have to take it. Now, Lamens, we should be signing him as well. But I think it's a case of, you know, we when there's an opportunity that comes up that's too good to sign, even if it's a difficult thing to do, I don't think it will be in terms of price. You've got to go for it, and I think you've got to be in and around that race 100% for sure. Let's have a little look. Can you see us getting Donnarumma before Belieber? Probably yes. Actually, I think the Belieber deal is going to be really tricky for us to do, so I could see us moving on this keeper deal pretty quickly, particularly if there's a keeper that doesn't want to sign a contract. There's not a contract there for him to sign now. He needs to go. I could see us going in here before we go and try to get the Belieber deal done. And you know, the bonus of doing this deal as well is, imagine if you start collecting these best players in the world, it makes other players want to come to your club. It shows other clubs that you mean business as well. So I'd be all for going to get him first, because imagine you get one of the best keepers in the world, you're showing the rest of the world, oh, actually we are a serious club and look at what we're trying to do. So I'd be all for this on a number of levels. So I think if we could go get this deal done, I genuinely believe that this will be a fantastic deal to do as well, even just for the perspective of brand, for the perspective of getting other players in. Imagine we finished 15th last season and we're making this move. Well, what does this show other teams and other clubs and players? It shows that we are a serious club again, and actually goes back to what Amarin said and some of these other players said, that we're going to be making moves this season. And lo and behold, look at what we're doing. Seeing us win the Prem this season, call me deluded and hear me out. Last time Chelsea won the Prem, they also had no Euro. Mr. Miyagi, I don't think I wouldn't call you that. I wouldn't call you names like that. I don't think that's fair. I think that is a valid opinion. I think that's your opinion. I think you can stand by that. I don't agree with that. Not because I think you're wrong. I don't think we've got the depth. You know, if we get Belieber, we get this goalkeeper, then you are looking at Premier League potentially winning players here. But I don't think our depth is good enough yet. I don't think Amarin needs to. Amarin's not proved himself yet. So we need to make sure we've got a coach. Stranger things have happened, but I think that we need to be I think we need to temper our expectations. But I think we are starting to build a Premier League squad. Maybe this season after next, maybe we could go for a title push. But one of the fundamental things that we don't have is depth. And that's what, for me, is one of the dangers of this team, is that there are still gaps. There are still issues for me at wing back, left back, right back positions, and maybe another defender, maybe Fernandes as well. So we're getting there. We'll be a hell of a lot closer than we ever have been. We get this keeper, and we should be pushing 5th, 4th. So I'm agreeing with you that I think we definitely push forward. I don't think we win the Premier League, but stranger things have definitely happened, and we are making moves for some really, really good play. Joel, I was hoping that we would get news about the structure of the deal. Is it installments? If Belieber is a real possibility? Joel, I think the fact that ESPN have reported that City are looking at this deal as well, this is becoming a difficult deal. I think as the days come on, I think we're going to know more. I think Garnacho going may prove instrumental in us doing this as well, but I think it's still going to be an exciting couple of days. If we thought last week was exciting, the next couple of weeks are going to be equally as exciting. And we've got a game next week as well. And we've got the Premier League next week as well. So I think there's some great excitement in the fan base, as it should be, as it absolutely should be. Let's have a little look. So Donnarumma over Lemens. I want Onana dropped and sold. If Lemens still available next summer, then we get him, or Jan. Yeah, exactly. Luke Power, is he available for 26? There's no question we have to go get him. Luke, I can tell you're excited, and I agree. I think we have to do that. Joe, most deals are installments over 3-4 years, like in Burmo. I wonder if PSG would want the 26 mil up front. I don't know. Even if you do it over 2 years, I mean, you know, that's fine as well. I think they'd be okay to get his wage off the book as well. So I think they'd be fine with that. Onana should go back to Italy. Maybe he will. I'll rate everything. So where are we? Mr. Miyagi. I'll rate everything Jim has done, to be honest. I seriously like who pay anyone 30k a year to do nothing, let alone having 300 people to do nothing. We have the most staff in the Premier League. It needed trimming. Mr. Miyagi, I think, again, I have the opposite view to that. I have an opposite view to that, but I'd never call you out on that view. I think you're entitled to have that view. But again, that's an interesting view, and you've actually, what you've done there is you've done more than most. Is that you've actually come up and you said, this is why I agree with what he's done, and you've given reasonings why. I mean, I can disagree, and I do disagree with that, but I don't, I'm not going to hold that against you, and that's a different opinion to mine. I think that's an interesting one. I do disagree. I agree with some of it. Maybe we were a touch heavy on. Probably we did need to cut some heads, but to do it in the way that he did, in the manner that he did, and the charity side that he did, I don't disagree. I don't agree with that whatsoever. But my only caveat, my main argument around that is ultimately, if he'd have just bought the club and cleared the debt, then we wouldn't have these issues. Additionally, he's also basically backed and supported the enemies of the club. However you feel about Ineos and Sir Jim, the Glazers have let this club and our home rot, ruin for however many years. They've never put a penny in of their own cash, and they've come in and they've facilitated that. And you may agree with this or not, but the reason why Sir Jim is here, the only reason why Sir Jim is here, is the regeneration project. That's it. That's it. And the only time I'll be prepared to be stand corrected on that one is if Sir Jim comes and clears the debt. If he clears the debt, buys the club, fine. I've got no issue there. But until that happens, it's not going to happen. He is here for profit, and that's where I stand. But I totally respect your opinion on that one as well. I don't think full sale was ever on the table. The Glazers love rent money. Onana staying, agree. Santos, he has Daz Salford says 69 says liked and subscribed. Thank you, my friend. Amazing. Thank you for being here as well, my friend. Giles says the debt when the stadium's done, it would take us 3 or 4 years to remove the debt fully if they wish. I did post it on X about it. I was wondering how Parada said that we would earn more than anybody. I wasn't expecting this type of chat today, but again, Joel, that's another opinion there. I think it's really difficult. I think everybody's going to have their views and opinions on this one. I don't see. My opinion on this one is that the Glazers will never clear the debt. The only time they'll clear the debt is when they sell, but they'll never clear the debt. And even when they do sell, they'll add that debt onto the top of the club. If the Glazers were going to clear this debt, they've had 12 years to clear the debt, 20 years, whatever. I think it's 20 years. They've had 20 years to clear the debt. They could have had payments and they could have cleared this debt, but they never wanted to put a penny of their own money into this. Why, when this new stadium is built and they've got billions, don't forget it's not just going to be them. Why would they clear the debt then? Like why would they suddenly, because they built a new stadium, and don't forget they're not going to have those billions of pounds in their hand. It's going to take them X amount of years to pay the stadium off. Why would they then suddenly go and pay off the debt? That it makes no sense. So I don't think they will. I think the only time this debt gets cleared is when they sell the club, if they sell the club. But they might come to a point where they need to reduce the debt down. But why pay off £1 billion when you can service that debt every single year? So I don't think. I would love to be wrong on that one, Joe, and I think I'd love to fall somewhere between you. But I don't see it myself. But maybe you'll be right. But we're not going to see till 2030. So we're going to have at least another 5 years of debt not cleared and debt repayments and whatever else. And that does mean that 800 million turns into 1 point something billion pounds in the next 5 years. So let's see where we are on that one. We have the money for Belieber already because of upfront fee and the rest of instalments. I don't disagree. We're a big club. Like last season, Liverpool earned 700 million total. We earned 84 million. I'd like to see those numbers. I don't think we did, but I think that's. I don't think we earned that much money last season, but I'll be stand corrected on that one, my friend. I don't think we did. I think Liverpool earned a lot more money. Let's have a look. Man United last season earnings. I'll have to do some digging on that one, my friend, but I don't think the revenue last year was 784 million. Might be wrong on that one, but I'll happily have a little look in that. If you want to post the source in the chat, I'll be happy to take a look at that. That surprises me. Belieber to bring down the price can actually help. So I do think the Belieber price will be come down. 26, Mike Harris, Santos, great signing. Jermaine Francis, which shirt number you feel Sheska will get? Oh, what's Rasmus's number right now? I think he'll get Rasmus's number. It's Rasmus's number right now. Rasmus is number 9, isn't he? Is Rasmus number 9 right now? He'll take Rasmus's number, I think. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I think he would take the 9, mate. I don't know if Rasmus already has a squad number this season. I think he probably does, but I think they'll give him the 9. 100%. I think they'll give him the 9. Where are we? The chat's going crazy. I'm loving it, guys. Getting it into the chat. We have a little look. I'm loving all the chats today. You guys are going crazy. Absolutely fantastic. I'll keep my eyes off X. Let's have a little look. Where are we? God, guys, there's so many chats in here. It's absolutely amazing. That's Salford legend. OB Miyagi. Chris Harris. We need a manager with more than one formation in his playbook. Don't get too gassed by this stubborn manager. Try and find out the latest figures and predicted income this season. How money will be used towards debts and transfer installments. Yeah, I'll be looking at. I'll get their annual reports. Being an ex accountant, I'll look at their accounts as well, see what I can find out. It's not hard to find anyway. Santos, Mark, can't compete. I can't agree with you, but we need more teams, bigger stadium. Pete, I get it, mate. I understand so much history, exactly. Passion we're leaving behind. Yeah, yeah. We could provide Onana as a part-time keeper. Jim has his way with words. He came out like you and said Carrington was crap. Right to the point with this guy. Mark Stewart, we're in talks with him. Just seen now on social media. It's a no-brainer deal. I think we need to get you young and it will make it happen. Agreed. Tobias, welcome, my friend. I like the new spiral stairs in Carrington. I like the new spiral stairs. I love it. CR7's exactly, Jermaine. Rasmus not going to leave in time to get that number. It's mental on X at the moment. I bet it is. Jermaine, I think Rasmus goes, my friend. I really do. I really do. I don't think you're wrong. I think there's an equal chance he stays, but I think he'll go. I think there's no way that you maybe Shesko does come in and take another number for this season potentially because he's going to be given a squad number. But I think Rasmus gets pushed out. It wouldn't surprise me. If they tell Rasmus he's got to go and give him his number. I mean, you'll soon see. Okay, he's getting unveiled tomorrow. So if Shesko gets unveiled tomorrow, the shirt, the number on his shirt is a 9. I don't think it will be. Then we all know. Then G-Best 1007. I'd like Haaland to stay. I've still got a lot of confidence in him. Yeah, man, would you forgive Onana if he convinces Belieber to join us? No. It's not, for me, it's not about forgiving him. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He's a professional football player who's just not very good at his job for us anyway. And I don't think it's about forgiving him as such. I mean, even if you did, it's a bit like saying, I'm just trying to think of something similar here, where you go, like, if you got somebody who's really bad at their job and they've been bad for 2 years, and you say, oh, can you forgive me if I go get you a coffee? And you go, okay, fine, and then they're bad at their job for 2 years again. It's a bit like, no, you're still bad at your job, so you can't go back in goal because he's got. So that's not how it works. That's not how I get what you're saying, but it's an absolute no from me, because you can't forgive somebody who's extremely bad at their job because they got you something in return. That's not how high end. If he was an agent, maybe Onana should be an agent or a scout. Then at that point, yes, I'd forgive him, but he'd be a scout. But there's no, I wouldn't like him back in this club. Bobby says, hit the like and subscribe, guys. 100%. This chat today is going off. This chat today, so many different subjects, so many different opinions. I love the opinions, and the views are different to mine. Some of you in the chat agree with me. You agree with yourselves. You know, I love it. There's so many different opinions and so many different chats, and this is how it should be. Starting up these conversations, and whether we agree with each other or not, some are fall in between. So we don't necessarily agree completely with every single thing, but this is the whole point of this chat. It starts debate, and this is what we absolutely need. Jim has a way with words. He does. Jim has a way with some words, in my opinion. You don't become a billionaire if you're not intelligent. You don't become a billionaire by luck. So, you know, he's obviously very good, and he is to be respected. That's 100%. He needs to be respected. He is a respected guy. He's an intelligent guy, and I just. Sir Jim is Sir Jim, right? Mark Stewart says, are we in talks with him? Just seen him on social media. It's a no-brainer deal. Correct. I think that's true. Channels are growing more viewers. Great to see. Exactly. I think this is the time to do it. You know, it's as everybody, you know, they're trying to do their own thing, trying to compete. I don't really see us competing really. I think it's, you know, everybody has a voice, everybody has their opinion, and as an open platform, I think it's really important that, you know, we come together. You know, some people see it as competing, you know, ultimately competing for views, but I think that's the best thing is if you go to different channels and you go to different places, I think that's really important to get different people's views and consume as much information as you can, because then you're armed then, and you're able then to come to a more logical and I think a more balanced conclusion. So I'd more than happily say to you guys, you know, go and consume as much out there. I'm sure there are some amazing people out there, you know, more who are smarter than I when it comes to football. 100% recommend that you go out and you consume as much information as you possibly can. But of course, come here first and give us a like, right? Come here first. This is, in my humble opinion, the best chat with the most amazing people. So close to 7,000 subs. Yes, we are. Obi, thank you. Can we trust him in the net? Can we trust him as a scout? You can't compete. I trust him more as a scout. I think he'd do less damage as a scout. Well, I think he'd do less damage as a scout, because ultimately, if he says, you know, to go and sign a player, we just say no, right? So I think I would trust him more as a scout. Like I said, let's get for 50, 100%. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes on the video. Let's see if we can get into the chat. Give us your opinions. You know, don't be stingy. Give us a like, give us a favourite, give us a subscribe. Southern Leeds fans since 1968. Shesko, Cunha in Burma. Where does Rasmus fit in? Welcome to the chat. He doesn't, my friend. Well, he does if you want another striker. He doesn't because we're going to get rid of him. And I think that's the reality of this, is that I wouldn't be adverse to keeping Onana. I'd have no issue with keeping Onana. No issue with keeping Højlund. I want Højlund here, but I think that sadly, I think he is going to be gone. I think we are going to look to sell him. What we then do with that striker position, I don't know. But let's see. Mark Harris, dopey question. Would you take Klopp at Liverpool right now? No. I don't think I don't think it's a dopey question. I don't. I think it's a logical question. I've thought about this as well. To be honest with you, would I take him? No. Sometimes am 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 I the dopey one? Right. I would question myself. Am I the dopey one? Am I the stupid one for saying no to Klopp? Like, there's no doubt that Klopp is a world-class manager. Like, there is no doubt in my mind. Okay, if somebody said to me, somebody gave my enemy £1,000,000 and then took it off of them and gave it to me and said, do you want £1,000,000? And I said, well, no, because my enemies had it. It was still £1,000,000, right? So it's a bit like someone saying, do you want Klopp? If you take Klopp, he's going to win you the league. And you go, well, no, I don't really want Klopp because he used to be the manager and won them a league as well. But it's still a no from me. I couldn't. I couldn't get behind it. I couldn't. I mean, Mark, I couldn't disagree. I can't disagree if you won him as a manager or you would take him as a manager, because logically, and normally I'm a very logical person that says, would you take him? 100%, because you look at what he would do to this team. You look at what he's done in the past. But I couldn't. I just wouldn't take him. I couldn't take him. I would see him and I wouldn't. He'd win us a league, but it would. I don't know. It just wouldn't feel right. So it's a no from me. I really couldn't. There are some managers, players, and stuff like that. I just wouldn't. And it's an illogical thing. When you think about it, it isn't a logical thing. If somebody offered you the best player in the world or one of the best coaches in the world, and you say no just because they played for a different team, but some things for me transcend logic. Some things transcend what's right, and definitely for me, it'd be an absolute no for Klopp for me on that one. Great summer for the growth of channels. Agreed completely. And all I say to everyone else out there, I know how difficult it is, and good luck to you all. And hopefully you will make it absolutely huge. And I'd be more than happy to collaborate with anybody. I just think the more you see people together, the more collaborations that you do, I think the better it is for everybody. It is for the consumer. It is for the viewer as well. So I'd be more than happy and wish everybody luck. Klopp, I like him, but I like having him in charge of our opponents, and sadly we'll not get to see him pull more hamstrings. Jamie Vargas, what does it mean for Xerxes? Would he be the number 2 striker option if Rasmus leaves? Yeah, Xerxes is a bit of a weird one for me. He hasn't played. I think he's been injured. I don't know. Xerxes for me has got that. If he doesn't do well this season, I think he'll be sold, or I think he'll go in the next window. I think Xerxes, for no fault of his own, I think he just may be one of those players who surplus to requirements. Maybe he is a backup. He's not a striker, but there's a question mark for me on him. I like him. I'm glad he stayed, but he could be one of those players that for whatever reason, change of manager, change of style, different players coming in. He may be a victim of that, and I genuinely can see him. If he doesn't get game time, then he may want to leave. So I could see that happening. So I think Xerxes for me, I want to see him do well, but I'll be overstacked on those players. So let's see with that one. I do think Xerxes goes back to Italy, maybe the next window. It might even be one of those surprises that happens this window. I just don't see where he fits in. Not because I don't like him. I just don't see where he fits in right now. But I think stranger things have happened. He could probably win the quad with this United. Good for Klopp, but he's not for me. I like Klopp, great manager, but I wouldn't have him at United. Yeah, I like the fact he plays a 16-year-old simply on that. I could say something on that as well now, but I'm not going to. Fair call, Gov. He's enjoying retirement at the moment. He doesn't need the stress, exactly. Probably Xerxes has more potential than Højlund. Xerxes back in Italy if he gets sold. Still funny to see that clip of Klopp but in his hamstring, it was Liverpool v Spurs. Amrin could be sexy and play a front three. Rob Hajabi for 26 million. Is it a steal? But what about his wages? Would he take a pay cut? Rob, hi buddy. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I think it is a steal. I think if you said his wages were about 220,000, something along those lines, I think I'll put it in the chat. I'll just have a quick look, see where I put it. His wages are 214k a week. I think we'd have to offer him 250, to be honest with you. I don't think he'd take a... The reason why he wouldn't take a pay cut is because he will be a free agent next season. No fee. Somebody will come in and give him 250 to 300k next year because he's on a free. So I don't think he'll lower that demand, but it's whether or not would he rather. And also don't forget as well, if he waits a year, somebody's going to give him a signing on fee. So next year they say they may get him for like, they might give him 10 to 14 million and maybe give him 250 to 300k a week. So that might be the danger here. I think the one thing that will scupper this deal are his demands. I mean, if we've got to pay 26 mil, which I still think is a fair price, if he's going to want something silly like 300 to 250k a week, it's I don't know. I think it's a no from me. I'd rather get Lemens, and you can crucify me in the chat for that, but I think that we need to be careful about these deals. He is only 26. He'd be the keeper for 10 years. So I think that if we do get him for 26 million, I think we do need to have an eye on the wages. I don't pay the wages, so ultimately, if they want to pay him 350k a week, then that's on them. You know, I'm as long as we get him, and as long as it doesn't stop us from doing other deals, and I'm not averse to it. But I think, you know, he might want 300 to 350k a week plus whatever fees as well. So we just need to be careful on that one as well. So, guys, I'm going to go another hour. Chat has been off the chart for this one. It's probably the best viewed video so far, just a random one that I've done. Could just be the time of day, but I think it's the subject matter. And what is really, I think, is really clear is that we all need Onana to go. But Mark Harris says overall making some great signings. We now need three or four, and it's looking good. Mark, 100%, mate. I agree. 250k a week is max. Mark, fantastic comment, mate. I agree with you on that one. I think we know we need another 2 or 3, and then we are cooking. Alex says, thank God. Yawn. What do you want me to do with that, mate? So, Alex, are you saying that I'm boring and this is boring and yet you've watched? What does that say about you, my friend? So if that's aimed at me, feel free not to watch, mate. It's completely free. And if you have watched and you're completely bored, then I think the joke's on you because you've watched a really boring person for the last hour. As in, we finally need a keeper. I take it back. Apologies. I never know in here when the trolls, my friend. As in, we finally need a keeper. Yeah, Alex, I agree with you, mate, on that one. I apologise and I agree with you on that one. I do think we need a new goalkeeper. Really, really badly, Alex. So I agree with you on that one. So I am going to go, guys. Another hour. Absolute amazing chat as well. Mark Harris, Alex. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. You can't compete. It was about the keeper. Relax. No, it's cool, mate. I've apologised. No, I respond to the chat. Exactly. It's I apologise. I will, if I make a mistake, one thing that you learn about me is I will apologise profusely if I've made a mistake, my friend. But yeah, I apologise. Thank you for being in the chat. I much appreciate it. As I've said, thank you to the chat. Mark Harris, Rob, Joel, Obi, Jamie. I'll mention Alex again. Thank you, buddy. Southern Leeds fan, Luman, Obi, Tobias, Bobby, Legend, of course, Santosh, Jamie Francis, Joel, Mr. Miyagi, so many. I'm trying to get through the names. That's Danny B, of course. Joel, Mr. Miyagi. I've said that again. Spirit of Elliot of LFC legend. Niche fan, of course. Temskin in the chat as well. Just absolute legends. Just fantastic, guys. I can't love this show. I love doing this show. These off the cuff ones as well. I love them. You never quite know how they're going to go. You know, just nice background and lighting tonight have been noted. It's more of a romantic feel, my friend. So yeah, I'll always say this. You can't buy time, guys. Just remember, the one thing in your life you can't do is buy time. And whether you've watched me for a minute, as Alex says, I'm really boring. I'm joking, Alex, by the way. Whether you give me a minute, an hour, a second of your time, I genuinely can't tell you how much that means to me. You've given me your time. You've given this community your time. You've come here. It's been an hour. I've loved it. Every second of this, I love it. It means so much to me, and I think I think it's starting to mean the same to everybody on here as well. It's unbelievable how, hopefully not your grinder profile jokes. No, man, I am a dad, and I am full of dad jokes, my friend. That is what I've resigned to, the fact that I'm full of dad jokes, and my jokes are terrible at the worst of the time. Anyway, so there you go. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whatever you do, guys. Again, I'll jump back on if anything does break. Absolute legends, guys. I really can't thank you enough. On journey to 10,000. I'm sure I'll check just before I leave. We're close to 7,000. I think really close now. We're only 64 away. So don't be stingy. If you're in the chat, give us a subscribe, give us a like. New crowd, how do you think we find a wage for? It depends. I think that if we sometimes, if you're getting something for cheap, you're getting something for a good deal, then maybe you do it via brand deal. So maybe you do it via a bonus structure. No, so I think you'd happily say to him, look, we'll give you, so very much like Shesko, right? Image rights. So if you look at this, right, let's just say if he wants 300 and we say, look, we'll give you 220 to 230. But what's going to happen when you come here, and PSG can't match this either, Neil, 45 quid and a bag of Tetleys. Oh, Neil, you do make me laugh. And you go, well, brand deals. You know, you there are ways to do it outside of a contracted deal. So we'll offer him image rights, the bonuses, brand. So his brand will instantaneously increase if he comes to this club. There are ways. I'm not concerned about that. I think we'll fit him into the squad, and we'll offer him 45 quid and a bag of Tetleys. Rob, I appreciate that, my friend. Do hit the like and subscribe button. Mark Harris, I'm giving you the last word. We're going to seal the deal with him, 45 quid and a bag of tea bags. And that's where it's at. So thank you, guys. It's been amazing as always. If anything drops, I will obviously jump back on and let you all know, and we'll debate it out as we always do. Take care. Be safe.